Oh, hello! Mark Pearson, Executive and Artistic Director of the College Light Opera Company. Welcome to our final episode of CLOC-Tails, a weekly concert series featuring CLOC alums. CLOC-Tails is made possible by a generous grant from the Kurt Weill Foundation of Music. This week, I got to catch up with a very talented young man, Christopher Sapp. But before we hear from Chris, this wouldn't be CLOC-Tails without a cocktail. For our final cocktail, we're featuring that summertime classic, the Pimm's Cup. And here's how it's made. The Pimm's Cup. This is the perfect summertime drink to be made in a pitcher. You'll want to serve this in a highball glass. You'll need ice, Pimm's No. 1, fresh lemon juice, ginger ale, lemonade, or ginger beer. For garnish, you'll want cucumber, fresh mint, strawberries, and any other fruit that you might like. Add ice to your glass. Add 2 ounces of Pimm's No. 1, a half an ounce of fresh lemon juice. Top it off with ginger beer. Garnish this drink with a slice of cucumber, some fresh fruit, a sprig of fresh mint, and a lemon slice. And there you have your Pimm's Cup. So, Chris Sapp, so happy to see you. Thrilled to have you as our final guest here on CLOC-Tails. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here, Mark.
So just for the audience's sake, can you remind us when you were at CLOC?
So my summer at CLOC was 2015, and it was in the middle of my undergraduate degree at the University of Georgia. Well, actually right between junior and senior year of college, and it was exactly what I needed at the time. Being kind of torn between the two genres of musical theater and opera, finding this niche market of material that, you know, in its essence is called light opera was exactly what I was looking for.
So what was your major?
My major at UGA was voice performance, and I was focusing in classical music, but I was doing a lot of musical theater outside of my major. The voice performance program was in the music school, and the theater program was in the theater school, and there wasn't a cross training at the school at the time. Now there is, since a lot of the performers there have been going back and forth between the two programs. They've recently instated a musical theater voice performance degree that is in conjunction with the theater department. So it's really exciting to see that years later, something that I wanted to have while I was there.
Somebody hold me too close. Somebody hurt me too deep. Somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive. Being alive. Somebody know me too much. Somebody know me too well. Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive. Make me alive. Make me confused. Mock me with praise. Let me
time.
Can you remember or remind us of some of your favorite roles that you played back in 2015 here at CLOC?
Oh yeah, my favorite one right off the top is Thomas Andrews in Titanic the musical. That was huge. I didn't know about that show honestly until I was auditioning for College Light Opera Company, and at first I thought this might be a little hokey. It's a musical about Titanic, but as we worked on it that summer and as I really dove into the material, I realized that this was probably the most accurate depiction you're going to get in a musical form of such a tragic story. And that was a very grown-up theater experience for me, I have to say. Robert in The New Moon as well was,
yes,
that was huge. That was me putting on my big boy pants and doing something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone in terms of material. And to be honest, it was a learning experience, but a really empowering experience as well, because that was the first big role for me of the summer where I was like, okay, cool, we're doing light opera. We're really actually doing light opera. So that was that and Thomas Andrews are tied up for first place for sure.
Great. Had you worked on an American operetta previously, or was that your first one?
That was my first one. The next time I did an operetta after CLOC was we did The Merry Widow in undergrad, my senior year. And after that, there was a lot of new opportunities that presented themselves with subsequent summers, going to Ohio Light Opera for 2 summers consecutively, which I learned about through College Light Opera Company, meeting a lot of fellow CLOC alum that were in previous or later years, and then also working for VHRP, which is the Victor Herbert Renaissance Project in New York, as well as NIGASP, which is the New York Gilbert and Sullivan Players. So after CLOC was when operetta kind of exploded in my face in a good way. Before that, it was all, Tarzan the musical and Sweeney Todd, which I guess, Sondheim, he rides that line a little bit, but yeah.
I'm nervous and upset because this girl I've never met I get to meet tonight at 8. I'm taking her to dinner at the charming old cafe, but who can eat tonight at 8? It's early in the morning and our date is not till 8 o'clock tonight, and yet already I can see what a nightmare this whole day will be. I haven't slept a wink, I only think of our approaching tete-a-tete tonight at 8. I feel a combination of depression and elation. What a state to wait till 8. 3 more minutes, 2 more seconds, 10 more hours to go. In spite of all I've written, she may not be very smitten, and my hopes perhaps may all collapse kaput tonight at 8. Wish I knew exactly how I'll act and what'll happen when we dine tonight at 8. I know I'll drop the silverware, but will I spill the water or the wine tonight at 8? Tonight I'll walk right up and sit right down beside the smartest girl in town, and then it's anybody's guess. More and more I'm breathing less and less. Our conversation taking shape tonight at 8. I'll sit there saying absolutely nothing. We're all jammed like an egg tonight at 8. 2 more minutes, 3 more seconds, 10 more hours to go. I'll know when this is done if something's ended or begun, and if it goes all right, who knows? I might propose tonight at 8.
I guess first, are you still friends with folks from your year at CLOC? But then also, have you run into a lot of other CLOC alums out there in the real world?
Yeah, so Jonathan Heller and I, actually, he was the year after me at CLOC, but he and I were really close because of Ohio Light Opera. And he actually came to NYU 1 year after me for a master's degree. And he and I got really close, especially after that summer at Ohio Light Opera into NYU. I'm also still really close with Hannah Friesen. I ran into her at auditions all the time in the city. But a really close friend of mine, Kyle Yampiro, I met at Ohio Light Opera. But yeah, he was also CLOC alum for many years. And
Right,
also,
different years, but many years.
Right. Also, interestingly, he just started working at the place that I'm working at as well, even though we're not working there, but we're both employed there, is this place called Gell's Broadway Rose in New York. It's a singing waiter job. So now we're both working at the same place, which is wild. And then, of course, the wonderful Claire Leyden. She and I were together in Pirates of Penzance with New York Gilbert and Sullivan Players recently, and such a fantastic experience working with her. She's one of the most professional and talented people I've ever worked with.
Yes, Claire's delightful. Awesome. Well, you mentioned your singing waiter job, which is probably not happening right now, but you did. I think you're back in the city now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I moved to Brooklyn in February of this year. And obviously when coronavirus hit, I had a choice to either kind of hunker down here or, take a break from the city and kind of go elsewhere for a little while. And that's what I chose to do. I chose to spend my summer in New Jersey and Georgia with my wonderful girlfriend. And I'm so thankful to her family and my family for housing us for all those months, because it was a scary time off the bat for all of us, and it still is a little uncertain. I'm much braver now than I was earlier in the summer. I'm a bit of a germaphobe, so you can understand how that might go. So I had to kind of get some armor, some metaphorical armor, ready to go back to the city, because it's not always considered the cleanest place.
Yeah, definitely.
use it. We'll never know what our history hangs upon this creek, 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 creek of long ago.
So, COVID aside, how has it been, trying to make a career in the city? How have you cobbled that together for yourself?
This summer has really brought out something that I have been doing for a lot of years, but I haven't really dove into like I wanted to, and that's my songwriting. I've been writing songs since I was 15, but it's always been on and off because performing on the stage, I think is at the core of what I really love to do. I think the performance aspect of it all. So songwriting leads into that. You perform the songs on stage for audiences, but I think now that there's not an opportunity to perform, it was a chance for me to really dive into that creative outlet and express myself in a way that could just be me in a small area with a MIDI keyboard and some programming and a guitar, and not a lot of technical effort, but I can do that. I could do that for hours. It's something that I just love to do, creating sounds, creating melodies, creating whole skeletons, and then putting the meat on the bones kind of thing. So that's been really, really satisfying. And I'm working on some music videos, and I'm working on a new band name, and there's a lot of shifting going on around that area of my life, but it's all for the best because this is an outlet too. It's an outlet for being creative, and the silver lining is that this gave me a chance to really dive into it and get more familiar with some of these songs that are either unfinished or are finished, and I just haven't really worked on them like they deserve.
Where did she go? Where can she be? When will she come again? Calling to me, calling to me, calling to me. Somewhere this rose like the glimmer of the wind against the water. Somewhere this rose like the shimmer of the sunlight on the sand. Somewhere this rose like the swell of endless music, singing out a melody too lovely to withstand.
when did you start writing music?
Like I said, when I was about 15, I was in a couple of worship bands when I was in high school, and over the years I kind of transitioned away from that style of music, but that was a huge chance for me to play music with people my age and to really like find others who liked to create in that way, with stringed instruments and amps and making loud noises and making mistakes and seeing what happens,
Would you say that your time at CLOC influenced your songwriting at all? Your exposure to different material?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you recall, but I wrote a little tune.
I do remember.
I wrote a little tune. It was a medley. I brought my acoustic guitar that summer. That's right. And I wrote a medley that had a few little excerpts from some of our songs in the show. One of my favorite moments in the whole little medley was the acoustic rendition of Autumn from Titanic. And I still hum that. I get cold chills thinking about it right now, but I still hum that because it's a very touching melody. It's a very touching moment in the show. And at that point in the summer, I mean, everyone was mad because I was just making everyone need to go buy a bunch of tissues, but yeah, CLOC was a huge influence on my songwriting because I learned so much about myself in the summer that has nothing to do with performing, just had to do with me as a young man becoming an adult. And obviously that's going to influence many parts of a person's life. And for someone that spends a lot of time working on songs, and usually, if I have a lyric idea or a melody idea, I'll get out notes or I'll get out voice memos and I'll jot it down or just hum it out. And I did a lot of that summer. I can go back and look at the timestamps and you'll see just random moments where we're out at the beach and I'll just pull out my phone and do that. So yeah, definitely, CLOC definitely had a solid, good influence on that part of my life.
Awesome.
The day starts, the day ends, time crawls by, night steals in, pacing the floor. The moments creep, yet I can't bear to sleep till I hear you sing. And weeks pass, and months pass, seasons fly. Still you don't walk through the door. And in a haze I count the silent days till I hear you sing once more. And sometimes at night time I dream that you are there, but wake holding nothing but the empty air. And years come and years go, time runs dry. Still I ache down to the core. My broken soul can't be alive and whole till I hear you sing once more. Music, your music, it teases at my ear. I turn and it fades away, and you're not here. Let hopes pass, let dreams pass, let them die. Without you, what are they for? I'll always feel no
Did you always know you wanted to be a performer from a young age?
I will say that in my early years, there's actually a pinnacle moment, and I'll tell you, if it's all right, I'll tell you that moment. So when I was going through, the younger years, kindergarten to fifth grade, I wasn't the most social butterfly, and I was pretty shy and didn't know really how to interact with people like some did. I wasn't always considered the extrovert of the group or the, troublemaker or anything like that. I was just kind of the kid in the corner, and which there's nothing wrong with a kid in the corner for those at home viewing this. But when I got to fifth grade, and we were about to be done with that year, we had a field day and we had karaoke on that field day. And I signed up with two other guys to sing How Far Is Heaven by the Los Lonely Boys. And they both backed out on me like a couple minutes before. And my mom was there that day, and she said, you have to do this because you signed up for it and you're going to be happy you did it once you did it. And that right there, to digress for a second, is huge, because without my mother's support and ambition vicariously through me, I don't think I would be where I am today. And that moment in fifth grade at that karaoke contest, or whatever you want to call it, I sang that song by myself, and the kids were going wild, and all of a sudden I was like, this is the thing I want to do, So that, to be able to look back and see that moment in time where it's like, that's it. I can't look back before then and see anything else. And then after that, it was all, sixth grade, joined choir, all state chorus, learned how to sight read. And it was addictive. It was so addictive. And that's the other thing that I wanted to mention too, is that at heart, I've always been a musician, like musician first, I do love performing and I love telling the stories, but I love looking at the structure and how the art is made. That's always been the most satisfying part to me.
I feel you, Joanna. I feel you. I was half convinced, awakened, satisfied enough to dream you. Happily, I was mistaken, Joanna. I'll steal you, Joanna. I'll steal you. Do they think the walls can hide you? Even now I'm at your window. I am in the dark beside you. I read sweetly in your yellow I feel you, Joanna, and one day I'll steal you. Till I'm with you, then I'm with you there. Read sweetly in your yellow
So, how has the audition life been for you in the city? Again, we'll put COVID on a shelf for a minute.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll have to say, this summer was exciting because I did do a couple of remote projects online. So I did this new work called Ganymede Revisited. And essentially, it was 3 different scenes in time telling the story of either older to younger male or same age male, or of like, sexual discourse, I guess, and the relationship between a director and their actor, or a relationship between, for me, it was a Grecian emperor with his up and coming. So they're all different stories in time to talk about that kind of tension and wrongdoing that sometimes people didn't see. So it was exciting to present a project like that, and we recorded on Zoom like this. And at first was odd, but going back and watching the project, it was really satisfying. It was a chance to act and perform, and so it was great. And also, I have an agent in the city, and he's been getting me a few video submissions here and there. So that's really nice. It's good to feel like you're still staying in the scene. So not a ton of things, but enough to feel like I am still an actor here in New York.
Right. Awesome. Is there something besides Ganymede that you're especially proud of that you've achieved?
Over the summer, I would say, again, not to beat on it too much, but as far as the songwriting goes, how much I've accomplished with creating material has been huge. I mean, I would like to put COVID on a shelf, but unfortunately it's in our faces. It's one of those things where when that is kind of keeping you from doing exactly what you've been destined to do, it's like you've got to find that other thing. And I mean, just a number of songs that came out of being kind of forced to sit there and really think about what's going on, and creating a list of possible material options. That was huge too, to have the time to do that. It's just like, it's funny how sometimes we have desires of things we want to do, things we want to accomplish, but we feel as human beings that we're like, oh, well, I don't have time to do that. There was no excuse this summer. I had nothing but time. So
what are you doing with the songs that you're writing? Are they going into a box? Are you?
Yeah, right. So I'm working on getting everything released, but
Great.
I may have mentioned earlier, I've got 4 music videos on the way. So they're fully filmed. I've got a couple of friends that are incredible videographers, and they're hooking me up with some really great material. To get everyone a little excited, one of them features a 77 T-top Corvette, baby blue, in the middle of the night, driving down the highway. So you can only imagine. It gets pretty wild.
So where can one see these videos?
They're going to be up probably towards the end of this year, so sometime in the fall, or maybe November, December, and they'll be on YouTube. I'm thinking of going under the band name Venturist, and to tell you why, Venturist is technically not a word in the dictionary, but I was reading up on an article about this guy that thinks we should replace the word entrepreneur with the word venturist, because venturist embraces the all-encompassing idea of someone doing their own thing, right? It's like an entrepreneur is a business person, and it kind of focuses on the business model, but a venturist doesn't bring in the monetary aspect or the linear growth aspect. It brings in the aspect of like kind of anciently what a quest would be like. You go on a quest, nerdy moment, but you go on a quest and then you have side quests, so you're never going straight from A to B. There's always other stuff in the way. So that's kind of the reasoning behind this new concept of being the venturist, being a venturist, so
cool. So is that band, what's the makeup of the band?
So I actually live with one of the other members, which is awesome. And obviously we've been away from each other for the whole summer because I haven't been in my apartment. But now that we're back and he's invested in some new equipment, we're excited to get some things written down. The drummer is actually one of the videographers for the videos, and he lives in Georgia. So when we do shows again, he and I are going to split plane tickets and fly him up, and he's worth the effort to get to the city, because he's one of the best musicians I've ever worked with. I've known him for probably like 12 years. So
The most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria, 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 Maria. All the sounds of the world in a single word. Maria, 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 Maria. Maria, Maria, Maria. Just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I've just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a sound can be. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. Never stop saying Maria. The most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria.
So, Chris, what do you absolutely love about your chosen quest, and what do you hate about it?
I think that the worst part is what is potentially the financial obligation versus the time obligation, right? So you can put more money into something and make it happen faster, or you can put more time into it and really own the material and not feel like it's in a bunch of different people's hands. So that dichotomy is, it can drive a person mad. It really can, because after a while, you wonder if the investment is worth it of money, but then if you're waiting on something anyways, you might as well just take your own time to really dive into it and create the material, master the material on your own. So that's probably the worst part. But the best part is the community of it all. I've met a lot of people through doing this. This summer is great because, you know, as not only networking for songwriting, but for musical theater, networking in general is great right now because everybody's online and everybody's sitting and everybody's, you know, waiting for, you know, real life to happen again. Right. But this is real life, right? So we get a chance to communicate through social media, to communicate through all of these blogs and feeds. And yeah, I've met a lot of really cool people that I actually ended up knowing through mutual friends that I didn't even realize. So I think that aspect is my favorite part, is like I said, I'm not an extrovert at heart, but I love the social aspect of getting to know people, sharing projects, getting reinvigorated and re-inspired every time you have a new conversation, you know? Even this right now between you and me is inspiring me to go and work on new material, so.
Awesome. I love to be inspiring.
Oh, the places I would like to show you, although I hardly know you, I've a funny feeling we make a perfect pair. Famous sights I want to see you, the nights of you and me. Wait a minute. Just a minute. No. I'm a Joe with just one name. Every night you date a different dame. Call each one of them the same pet name. Hey, baby. In a row I have my ducks. Loads of gals to give me loads of yucks. Leave the cooing to the other clucks. I don't mean maybe. Got it good. What do I need with love? Always practice what I preach. Temptation out of easy reach. Stick to dolls who wash their hair and bleach. I'm happy. Come and go the way I choose. Never gonna sing the tied down blues. Other guys would kill to fill my shoes. No wing, clipped, sappy. Got it good. What do I need with love? That was a near miss. Talk about a close shave. Flirted with disaster. There must be someone up there watching over me. Talk about a 4-leaf clover me. Peter Rabbit's missing footsie. Means I roll without a tootsie. Got it good. What do I need with love? I got it good. What do I need with love? Skip the vows and all that rot. Tell the minister that I do not. Bright and breezy as the birds and beesy as the free and easy as the life I've got. Without although I hardly know you. What do I do with love? I got it good. Got it good. But now I got
I want to ask you one last question before I let you go, and that is, if you had one piece of advice for your 20-year-old self, what would it be?
I wrote this one down because I think it's important. Practice. Read a lot and be more okay with utilizing social media, because now
What do you mean by that?
Well, now we're seeing more than ever how it is like kind of the all-encompassing networking and advertising avenue, right? That's the way to go. So to go back 5-6 years and be able to really understand that, I think for those at home watching, that's a huge thing. Yeah, is like the aspect that, like, now more than ever, but in general, whether this summer happened the way it did or not, it's still getting more and more important. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris. This has been great.
Yeah, this is awesome. It's so great to talk to you again, and I'm visiting the old cabin vicariously through you. So
Awesome.
CLOC-Tails was part of our larger series, Digital Clock. Digital Clock was made possible by a generous gift from Phil and Liz Gross. If you'd like to learn more about College Light Opera Company, or if you've enjoyed our program and would like to become a supporter, please visit us at collegelightoperacompany.com. We hope to see you all live next year at the Highfield Theatre. Till then, Stay safe and stay in touch. Cheers.